Hey there, how y'all doing? It's Data, not quite on trail just yet, but since I'm about a week out from day 0, thought I would shoot a quick demonstration video about how I'm treating my clothes with permethrin. A lot of folks who watch this may know permethrin is a really good insecticide. It's pretty safe to use. You got to be a little careful when you apply it. In its liquid form, it's very toxic to cats, so you can't use it around your pets, especially not around your cats. I'm doing it in my garage, which is not ideal. It would be better if I could do this outside, but it's a little too cold for that in the time frame that I'll need to have this stuff dry. So I'm not using Sawyer, although that's what I've used in the past. This is just a little bit more cost effective. It's like an agricultural grade permethrin for treating livestock and things around the farm. And at a 10% concentration, it's way too strong for application to clothes for hikers. So I've mixed it with water in these 2 spray bottles. Sawyer is a 0.5% concentration, and the military uses a 1% concentration. I've mixed these 2 bottles to be a concentration of about 0.7 or so. It'd be safe up to 1.0 really, but I don't need it quite that dense. But I would like to make sure that permethrin works and sticks to everything, because I am just almost paranoid afraid of ticks and Lyme disease. It's actually the only thing on trail that really worries me. Not the other hikers, not the bears, not snakes, but ticks creep me out. So I'm going to wet all this stuff down. I'm going to be treating my my backup socks, my wearing socks, the under socks, my underwear, my hiking t-shirt, my hiking shirt and pants, the inside brim of my hat, my buff, and the bottom of my backpack and its belt. I'm hiking early enough in the season, since I'm starting early in March, that ticks shouldn't be a huge problem, but if they are, they will definitely be in like the larval or infancy stage, and they'll be coming up out of the leaf litter on the ground. So if I can treat the stuff near the ground, including my shoes, which aren't out here yet, then I should be pretty safe. And I've used the Sawyer treatment in the past, and I have never had a tick problem. And I do also like that later in the season, the permethrin will also help fend off mosquitoes and ants and some other kinds of animals, some other kind of insects. So with that, I'm going to pause for a minute and get things set up, and then I may shoot a little bit of myself applying it. And it's a pretty simple process, so I strongly recommend folks think about doing this if they're getting ready to head out on the AT in March and April especially. So I'm wearing gloves while doing this, and I'll open the garage up later on today to get some of the scent out of it. But as you'll see, I'm just using the spray bottle, and the goal is to wet the fabric to where it isn't saturated completely, but to where it's moist across the surface of the fabric. So you can kind of see as it hits it, will darken the fabric up just like rain would. I'm going to treat one side and let it dry a little bit, and then I'll treat the other side of all of these things, and then I'll let them dry for a couple of hours. And then, since I'm using a 0.7 or so percent solution, I won't have to treat them again. There aren't really a lot of tricks to this, except that you want to let it dry completely before you do anything, put them on, or wear them to hike in or anything. And you want to do it someplace where it doesn't matter. Like in my garage, it won't matter if it gets on the floor. It'll dry out, and my cats never come out here, so that's safe. Looks kind of icky when you first put it on, but it actually dries pretty quickly, and it has a certain scent to it right now that doesn't smell good, but the scent goes away when it's dry. You can smell it maybe just a little bit, but not really very much. Again, like I said, I'm going to I don't treat the insides of things. Some people recommend dipping your stuff. I do treat the inside of the legs of the pants, and then I'll unfold them and treat the rest of the outside. I especially try to treat the waistlines very well, really well. Waistlines, and then the lines down by my feet. Anywhere there's a seam, folks probably know this, but ticks are more, they don't fall from the trees. They're ground dwelling and low plant lying. They're looking to get on the fur of bears or foxes or rabbits or squirrels that run by. So you're more likely to get them on you if from your knees down. But once they get on you, then they like to crawl around and find some place warm to hide. So they're prone to being found on your belt line, and really from your thighs. In my case, from my thighs up to my waistline is where I found ticks occasionally. But I've only found them a couple of times, and I was able to find them before they were able to embed at all. You have a day or two once a tick gets on you before it gets a chance to embed. So you can see that's all the longer that took. It's about 3 or 4 minutes. Now I'll turn the things over that needed to be turned over, and I'll spray them down, and then I'll have to give it a couple hours to dry. And then I'll be ready to go. This treatment should be good for 6 weeks or 6 washings, and since my hike is only going to be 4 or 4.5 weeks long, this should keep me safe from the ticks and mosquitoes and whatnot for the time that I'm on the trail this time. Oh, and one more thing about using the concentrate that I forgot to say is you do have to mix it yourself. It comes with its own little measuring thing in it, so it's not too hard to do the math to figure out that it's, a little bit less than 2 ounces for 25 ounces of water in my case. But this little jar on Amazon was $12, something like that, and a single thing of Sawyer, which would be about the size of my spray bottles, that much Sawyer would be about $17 or $18 on Amazon, and the little jar of concentrate will make 3 or 4 or 5 of these things of Sawyer. So it is at least, 20% of the cost. So it's literally 5 times as cost effective to mix the permethrin up yourself and spray it than just to buy the product from Sawyer and use theirs. Theirs works really well, and you don't have to worry about mixing it or anything. But I'm going to be thru hiking this year, so I'm going to have to treat these clothes at least 5 times over the course of the year. That little bottle I bought will probably handle all of those treatments for $12, as opposed to Sawyer would have cost me probably $150 for those treatments, or $100. So just one way to save a little bit of money when you're trying to figure out how to afford a thru hike. So, and with that, this is Data, not quite on trail, saying happy trails to each of you.